Look who's at the back door. It's little Richard. Hello, Richard. How are you?
Stella, Splash, Simba, Hydrox, Ditto, and Boo. The Lucky Ferals.
It's 8 a.m. Look at this. Hello. Hello, little Goldie. Hello. We're having a late morning and I'm just putting some food out for the outside cats. I'm heating up some water to mix in because it was in the refrigerator. Who's that, Boo? Who's that, Boo? So here's Boo. And look at this. There's 3. That's Ringo. I saw his sister a little while ago. Well, they're all brothers and sisters, but I saw the one that has the same patterns as he does. So this is what the cats are getting. They're getting a platter of homemade cat food with some dry food on it. I'm bringing out a second platter of food. The camera battery just died. There's 6 of them right now. Do you see? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they're getting braver. Either that or they're just super, super hungry. See, here's little Richard's coming to eat while I'm standing right next to the table. They didn't run under the fence. Here comes Ziggy. She's coming too. So it's getting much colder and they're going to be burning more calories. So that's why they're probably more hungry. And also they're hopefully getting used to me. That first platter is practically gone. So there's a second platter. And there's these bees or wasps flying around. Look at this, guys. Look how close. Look how close. I just put the 3rd platter of food out. So here's the one that doesn't really have a name yet, and Grandma Feral was here yesterday and she thinks I should name her Rhoda because it goes with Ringo, like Ringo and Rhoda. So I don't know if that's gonna stick. And then today when I was just outside, the one with the white shoes, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time naming him. So they have 3 platters of food. The inside cats are like, what's going on? But I need to, like, I haven't even started getting ready for my day. I literally just got out of bed and I was like, I gotta put food out for the cats because it's already after 8 a.m. and sometimes I put food out earlier than this. I want to keep them on a schedule because either tomorrow or the next day, I want to see if I could call and make the first appointment for a spay and neuter. And I don't know when the appointment's going to be. I got to find out with regards to the vet, like how backed up they are. And then we'll take it from there. It's 8:37 a.m. I just got out of the shower and look at what's going on outside. All of the platters have been licked clean. So that's 3 platters. That's a full pound of homemade cat food, so that's a whole pint, 16 ounces. So I'm going to get dressed, and then I'll open up a can of food, or maybe 2 cans of food, and put it out on the platters. There's 6 hungry cats outside. 8:53 a.m. I just prepared a can of Trader Joe's cat food. They discontinued their cat food, so I'm using what I have left. I mixed some water into it, and I split it up among the 2 platters, and then I filled the rest of the platters with dry food. And as I was doing that, the cat with the white paws literally like walked up to the platter and started eating. And so I was talking to him, I'm like, what's your name? Is your name Wilbur? Is your name Jimmy? What's your name? I'm trying to figure out what it is. It might be Jimmy. Because when I said, is your name Jimmy? All of a sudden his eyes looked really green. And I was like, oh, does that resonate with you? We'll have to see. Now with the other one, I'm thinking it's Shirley. Swirly Shirley. We'll have to see how that goes. She kind of looks like a Shirley. And we'll see. And there's Goldie, but I'm wondering if her name is Dot. Like Dottie. But she's not a very dotty cat. She just has that one gold marking on her forehead. She looks like a combination of black and gold. And Goldie kind of fits with her. So the only one I haven't seen today would be Sammy. The one that reminds me of Sammy Davis Jr. So far we have Sammy, Ringo, Little Richard, Ziggy, Goldie, Jimmy, and Shirley. How many is that? Did I miss one? Sammy, Ringo, Little Richard, Ziggy, Goldie, Shirley, and Jimmy, potentially. Some of those names are not 100% yet. Potentially. These are potentials. The inside cats still need to eat their breakfast. Here's Stella. She's waiting for some food. Stella got lots of pets this morning. So I was trying to sleep in a little bit. Stella jumped on the bed and she's like, give me pets. I was like, okay, Stella, are you trying to tell me I need to wake up? Here's Boo. How you doing, Boo? I have to remind the cats that they are inside cats. And inside cats have a different life than outside cats, right, Stella? So instead of just eating in the morning, first we need to get brushed in the morning, right, Stella? First we need to get brushed, and then we can eat after we get brushed. And I also like to give you fresh water in the morning. You like fresh water, right? I don't give the outside cats fresh water right away because it scares them when I take the hose out. Another thing I should mention is that if you are feeding and watering outside cats, it's very important to get a hose that is safe for drinking water. It seems like most of the hoses these days are not made to be drinking water safe, and you definitely want to do that. Boo, you're handsome. Boo, you're handsome, but you got to get brushed. The cats are getting brushed this morning, and what I have recently learned is that if there are pieces of paper on the ground, Boo will actually let me brush him on a piece of paper without walking all around the room. Right, Boo? So I think from now on, I'm always going to have to keep at least one piece of paper on the ground because then it's so much easier to brush Boo. See, like right now he just got up, but he's just moving from paper to paper. Otherwise, he'd be like walking to all his arches and walking back and forth between rooms. See? From one paper to the other. If there was only one paper, he'd probably just stay on the one paper. And here's Simba, and I was just brushing Simba, and he told me something very interesting, so I thought I would grab the camera and share it. So this is their play rug, and this is the layout of it right now. They have these grass mats they like to lay on. They have this grass hunting box they like to play with. They have this toy. It has a ball that goes around. It also has grass in the middle. They like to sit on that more than anything. But Simba just told me the reason why. The reason why is because, see these 3 scratch and rolls? They don't like them in this position. So the scratch and rolls are here on this part of the rug. And then there's like a scratching rug there, and then here's this unit that I have the TV on. And they say that if they sit in the scratch and rolls here, they can't really see the TV very well, and they don't feel comfortable sitting in the scratch and rolls here. Unless there's a Hot Wheels track. If there's a Hot Wheels track in the middle of this rug, then I'll move these over, then they'll sit there. But for the most part, they say they don't like them in this location, or that's what Simba just told me. He said if I move them to other parts of the rug, then they'll probably use them. He also just told me to make sure that they're kind of separated from each other. Maybe put one in each corner, and he said that would be better. So that's what I will do later. First, I need to get them all brushed and fed. It's 10:24 a.m. I just came outside to clean up some stuff on the patio, and there's 3 cats here. They were just eating some food. I guess they were cleaning up whatever's left on the plates. It looks like it's Ziggy, Little Richard, and then Chuck. I don't know what his name is. Jimmy, James, Charles, Charlie, Wilbur. I don't know now. I feel like his name is Chuck. I can't decide on a name for this cat. At least they're happy. Look, they're rubbing on each other. Hey, Chuck. Hey, Chuck. Is your name Chuck? Like Chuck Taylor's? I think he likes that name. Look, he's blinking at me. Hey, Chuck. Like Chuck Berry? Look, he's blinking at me. Hey, Chuck. Your name Chuck? Are you Chuck? Is that your name? This is Richard. Look at Richard. Look, he's laying out. Look at him laying out like this. Oh my gosh, he reminds me so much of Simba. Oh, and look. There's the other one. What's her name? Is that Shirley? Hello, little Shirley. Shirley and Chuck. Is that it? Is that your guys' names? Chuck and Shirley? Richard, Chuck, and Shirley. I don't know, guys. But if you look at Shirley's fur, it's so pretty. It has like gray, but it also has brown, little reddish tones. It's all different colors. Swirly Shirley. Swirly Shirley. Your name's Shirley? Maybe her name is Shirley spelled S-U-R-E-L-Y. Shorely. That would be Shorely. No. I think Shirley is her name. I mean, they're all brothers and sisters. In my mind, they all come from the same litter. They're all like the exact same size, the exact same age. And there's Ziggy. How you doing, Ziggy? And there's Richard laying in the irises. Yeah, Shirley's definitely a girl. I just saw her backside. So this is the dog house that used to house the automatic feeder. So the automatic feeder was kept inside here, and the bowl was here. And then the cats used to go in and eat inside. This was actually set up when Boo was living outside, Boo and Hydrox. So there weren't a whole bunch of cats eating at the same time. So it was okay that it was housed in here. And it did really well for years. I mean, I set it up in 2017 and took it down in 2021, so that was like 4 years. What Grandpa Farrell did yesterday, I don't know if you could see it, but in the back, he popped out an escape route. So there's a 5x5 inch door in the back. So if there's an issue with this shelter, the cat can escape out the back. And if we think back to last winter, I think it was last winter, when the other doghouse shelter was here. So it was identical to this. It had the same front door, the same door in the back, and then it had a heated shelter inside of it. And Ditto was in the shelter, and a crazy raccoon tried attacking him from this front door. And instead of going out the back, which I don't even know if he could have gone out the back because we had so much snow that the back might have been just covered with like too much snow for him to get out the back. Well, he literally came flying out the front. He flew over the raccoon, you know, through the air, landed, I don't know, 6 feet away, and just ran for his life around the snowbanks on the patio and then out of the yard, and then the raccoon chased him. That was like the craziest night ever. That was the same night that the raccoons got into the other shelter. So this is the custom cat shelter under the house. It could use some surface cleaning, but yesterday we opened it up and I replaced the camera. There's a camera inside here. So it's in really good condition inside. The insulation is fine. The carpeting is fine. We put new carpeting in here before we closed it up. So everything's fresh. I just need to kind of clean off the outside. And there's still pieces blocking the doors so no one could get in. And then there's 2 vestibules under the house. So one vestibule goes here, the other vestibule goes there. If you're not familiar with how vestibules work, they help to block the flow of air. So when I used to live in New York City, for example, and we used to go out to restaurants or a store or wherever, in the wintertime, they'd put up a vestibule in front of the front door, because a lot of these were really small restaurants, for example, or a really small store, and if you opened up the door, all kinds of cold air would come in, and then it would really affect the temperature inside. But if they had a vestibule, it would definitely help stop the flow of cold air. It's basically like a door and a little foyer area, and then the main door to go in. And that's really helped with this shelter, and the cats don't mind. It's like the cats go through like a little tunnel to get in. So this is not set up yet, but it's pretty much ready to go. This is one of the new cameras. So one of the old cameras used to be here, and this used to be a little bit taller. So we actually lowered this, moved it closer to the shelter. It's closer to the shelter now, so maybe it'll get a better view. I don't know how the new cameras are gonna work yet. Also, we lowered the solar panels so the cats can get a better view out of the windows that are above the solar panels. From a cat's eye view, the solar panels were kind of blocking their view of the patio. So hopefully by lowering them a little bit, the cats will get a better view out the window. So this is the first year that I had the patio table and chairs on this side of the patio, and it's actually nice having them here, but I think what I'm gonna do is move them back to here where they used to be. And then this is where I have the feeding table and the automatic feeder so far, and it's been working really well. This has been working really well. This is a 3 by 3 foot table, so 36 inches by 36 inches. And we took one of the legs off yesterday, so it actually only has 7 legs right now. And the legs are 15 inches high. And this is fine for feeding cats under the table. There's 2 platters under here. A lot of cats can fit under this table, easily 4 cats, 5, 6 cats. And if it rains, this helps shelter them. And also then, this is where the automatic feeder is. So this is the blue tub. It's a blue recycled tub from previous years. It's still new. It was put out very recently. It has the automatic feeder housed inside of it. And then to keep the raccoons from getting into it, there is a large piece of plywood put on top of it. I think it's a 2 by 2 foot by 2 foot piece of plywood. It actually extends out this way, and the table's kind of over it. And then there's 2 really heavy pavers on top, and that's to keep the raccoons out. When there was only 1 paver on top, the raccoons were actually able to slide the paver over and get into the feeder. But since there's 2 pavers on top now, they have not been able to do that. And also the table itself is on top of the plywood. So I measured it so that there would be overlap, so then everything that is underneath is protected from rain. So if it does rain, then the cats can still eat out of this feeder, and since it's not in the doghouse, they can access it from multiple directions, so you could actually have several cats eating at the same time. I still have this Rubbermaid shelter underneath the house. The fact that it's underneath the house has really helped it last a lot longer than if it was out in the elements. So I have to go through that, clean it up, but it's still there and it's still usable. And the other thing we did was run new power lines into the greenhouse. So I went and I got a heavy duty extension cord to power the greenhouse. Last year I just used whatever extension cord that I had, and I think it was either a light or medium, and this one's heavy duty. It's 12 gauge, 15 amps, so this should be enough to power whatever I use in the greenhouse through the winter. So I have to clean up these plants and reorganize these shelves, but you can see all these Christmas lights. Last year I had 2 or 3 strings of these Christmas lights, and they kept this greenhouse from freezing, and they kept all the plants alive. I was pleasantly surprised at how well they worked to keep the plants alive. My Meyer lemon tree thrived, and so did all of the geraniums. So I'm hoping to have enough room in here to put the lemon tree and the geraniums, which are much bigger than they were last year. I don't know if I'm going to need to move out one of these shelves. These shelves are from my previous greenhouse, and they fit perfectly in here, so I kept them in here. And then I just have extension cords running to the outside extension cord that powered, last year they powered these Christmas lights, and then when it got really cold out, I actually used the heater from my dehydrator because it only uses about 300 watts. And I used that in here also just to keep the frost out of here, and it worked really well. So I'm hoping to do that again. But the issue does arise with regards to TNRing these cats. So right now I'm filming this, it's like the last week of September. So that gives me October, November, gives me 2 months to really work with before winter gets here, like December. And there's 7 cats that I'm dealing with. So if I did 1 cat a week, that would be pretty much 2 months. If I could do 2 cats a week, that could lessen the amount of time, but you know, it's all a question of being able to get them into traps. So this is the Meyer lemon tree. I'd probably prune this back before I put it back in the greenhouse, but it does have lemons growing on it. They're just starting to turn, and if this does not go in the greenhouse, it's not going to survive the winter. And I can't put this inside because there's a bunch of critters and stuff living in this dirt because it's been outside all summer. So I need to find someplace warm for it, and it's not going to survive in the garage. So it's really its only chance of survival is the greenhouse. And then here's one of the geraniums. This geranium is easily 2 or 3 times the size that it was when I took it out of the greenhouse. So I would like to save these. I don't know if they could be cut down to be put in the greenhouse, but the pot is quite big. There's actually some catnip growing in here, which I'm hoping to harvest soon. So there's this one, and then there's this one. This one did really good. I feel like it's a shame to let these die, so I got to figure out what I'm going to do with these. I had this one in the greenhouse last year. This is a small one. And then this is my rosemary. I had that in the greenhouse. It's not doing really well here, but maybe if I put it in the greenhouse, it'll do better. Then this is some mint. Mint could stay outside. And then this is the other thing that got done yesterday. So I've had one of these motion lights back here since I moved in. The people that own this house before me put it up, and it never really worked right. So like at night when there's movement, the light is supposed to go on, and it never really did. So we put this new one up, and last night it was going on. It felt like every 5 or 10 minutes, because if it wasn't a cat walking through, it was a skunk or a possum or a raccoon. It was like really almost constantly on. And nowadays these lights are like a really blue type of light. They're not like the incandescent lights that are much more natural, like warm yellow light. And so these are more like the color of daylight. And the issue with that is when I first took Stella into the vet to have her spayed, it was the end of December. I remember talking to the vet and saying I thought it was strange that she was going into heat in the middle of winter. I mean, it was December 29th when she went into heat. And I took her to be spayed a few days later once she got over her heat cycle. And what they told me is that it's actually dependent upon light, and that when a cat gets more light than darkness in the course of their day, like when the days are longer, then that triggers their heat cycles. So from like March 21st through September 21st, the days are longer. There's more day than night. There are more hours of sunlight than more hours of darkness. So that will actually trigger heat cycles in cats. So when I saw how many times this was going off last night and how much light it was giving off, because it's really bright, I came out here today and I loosened the bulbs. It does not have an off switch, so I had to loosen the bulbs, and hopefully it won't go on again. And I'm just gonna deal with this area like I have been dealing with this area with portable lights when I need to. So I do not need to be triggering these cats into heat right now before I could get them spayed and neutered. I don't know what's going on here. I thought those were 2 hawks, but they sounded like crows. They're really big birds. It's 3 p.m. I was sitting downstairs, and all of a sudden Boo comes running down the stairs and jumping up to the top of the cat tower downstairs. And I was like, what is he looking at? Well, this is what he's looking at. This is little Richard, and he was just laying by the cat shelter, the dog house. Boo just jumped off the cat tower downstairs, and he's gonna be coming upstairs soon. I could hear it. Yep, he's by my feet now. So there's little Richard just hanging out. Maybe he's looking for dinner. It's still early. It's 3 o'clock. But he did just remind me that we are supposed to get some pretty severe thunderstorms this afternoon. I think they're supposed to get here around 4:30. So I'm going to go check the weather apps and look at the radar. And if that is the case, then I'm going to give them dinner early. So then they're set. We have to remember outside cats have much bigger appetites before any kind of storm or bad weather. It's 7:37 p.m. Look who's at the back door. It's little Richard. Hello, Richard. How are you? So I just looked out the kitchen window to see if the cats had eaten the food on the platters, and I saw a skunk eating. And then I saw a cat moving around in the darkness, and I was like, who is it? And it was Richard. Then I watched him walk toward the shelter under the house. The next thing I know, he came up to the back door. So I'll put some more food out. Here's Boo. What you doing, Boo? I told Boo he could take some time off because he's working too much lately. I told Boo he's a workaholic, and he can't be a workaholic because, you know, I don't want him to burn himself out. So I gave him some time off. That's why he was hanging out in the living room. We were watching TV for a little while. And now he's looking at Richard. Richard's afraid of the camera. Obviously, he's very cautious too. He doesn't want to go near the skunk. The skunk is still near the feeding table. So maybe I'll put some food out over here and see if he wants it over there. Actually, now there's 2 skunks near the feeding table. The problem with having skunks out there, like if I go out there and they get scared, they could potentially spray, which I don't need. So maybe I'll just wait for the skunks to leave. Richard is now under this little feeding table. There's the skunk. Yep. Oh no. Now he's walking away because he saw the skunk. So maybe I won't put some food out. Maybe he's just exploring. And there goes the skunk getting a drink of water. Thank you for watching this Lucky Ferals video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you'd like me to post more videos, and please make sure to check out these other videos that were selected especially for you.